sometimes we're scared to be alone. But this period has taught me that at least it's pushed me to become more independent, more resilient, and have a deeper relationship with myself. I know I can depend on myself a lot more than I did. And for me, that's a really positive thing if you look at it from that angle. So I hope that we're less scared of being alone, and that solitude is also a blissful state of mind.
The COVID-19 pandemic has brought the entertainment and arts world to a standstill. When this episode of the Paris Talks podcast was recorded, the city of Paris was under total lockdown, and just like many other artists and musicians, our today's guest was massively impacted. All of her concerts and gigs were cancelled. One of the ways she innovated was through social media by discovering that she actually has a massive fan base in India. Sumana is a Paris-based independent Indian singer and songwriter. Her musical journey began right from her childhood as she enthusiastically embraced the stage and actively engaged in singing events. Through her youth in Bangalore, India, she was part of many acappella groups and choirs. After her bachelor's degree, Sumana moved to Paris to pursue an MBA from HEC Paris. As fate would have it, a chance encounter with musician Vanupié in the Parisian metro would change her life forever. This defining moment led her to learning the guitar, writing songs, and exploring music passionately. In 2016, Sumana was selected to perform in the Paris metro. She has been a regular metro singer ever since, sharing her songs with thousands of people traveling in the subway. Right before the COVID-19 pandemic and after more than 12 years in the financial sector, Sumana decided to take a break from her full-time corporate job and dedicate her time, love, and energy to music. If we were to start a new normal, what and how should it be? That's the question we are asking Sumana today. Welcome to yet another episode of the Paris Talks podcast. This season 2 of the Paris Talks podcast is trying to understand the post-COVID-19's new normal through inspiring stories and testimonies from innovators, community influencers, and policy designers.
My name is Sumana. I am Indian, but I've been living in Paris for the last 11 years now. I come from Bangalore in India. I am a singer, songwriter, and independent artist, and I work for myself at the moment. But I haven't always been doing music full-time. I come from a corporate background. I have many years of experience in the insurance sector. And a couple of years ago, I decided to leave my job and dedicate all my time and energy to my music. So I was born in India, and then I grew up in Yemen because my parents are doctors and they were working in Yemen. So I spent my early childhood there. And in 1994, there was the civil war between North Yemen and South Yemen. And that's when all the Indians were evacuated back to India. So I continued my education and growing up in India. And after my education, I got a job with a Swiss company. So I had the opportunity to go and live in Zurich for a while. That was amazing. And then I took the decision to leave India and move to France. And so I've been here for the last 11 years, like I said. I guess living abroad and experiencing different lifestyles, different cultures have really contributed to who I am. I'm just so grateful to be able to do this because it has taught me to be more open-minded. It's taught me to be more flexible It's taught me that the world doesn't revolve around myself and my traditions or my culture, but the world is made up of diverse thoughts and people and cultures, and that's what makes it interesting. It's taught me that home is where the heart is. I love being in Paris. I feel at home. I'm happy to be able to embrace another culture as much as my own.
Beijing has confirmed the number of people who have died from a new type of respiratory virus in China has now passed 40. Almost 1,300 people now infected with the coronavirus, and the authorities have put more cities under quarantine. That's affected about 56 million people in total. Outside China, 3 cases have been confirmed in France. That's the first time the virus has been identified in Europe.
So I was here in Paris, and I think we first started hearing about it in January, February, but it was something that was happening in China that was really not affecting us, and I really believed at that time that it wouldn't get to us. I think we all lived in this kind of bubble, but it became really real in March when the lockdown happened. And yeah, I was here in Paris during that time. And none of us had even the slightest idea that this could be a potentially dangerous situation. And then the next week, we were in lockdown.
France is just hours away from a nationwide lockdown. President Emmanuel Macron says the country is facing a public health war and that it will take an all-out mobilization to slow the spread of coronavirus. COVID-19 has killed 148 people in France and infected more than 6,600. All citizens will be required to stay home from midday. The restrictions will stay in place for at least 15 days.
It was a little frightening. Or very frightening in the beginning, because none of us knew what to expect. I think the first instinct was, oh gosh, do I need to buy food and stock up for the next few months? But I think after a few days, and when I experienced that there was no real danger to our lives, we could go out, we could do our sport, we could go buy groceries, we could be in touch with our loved ones. I think then it started to kind of ease in for me. I was working on 2 major professional projects. So the first was starting to record my first album. So I was very excited about it. We had everything set up with my producer, but we couldn't start and we had to postpone it. And that was really hard for me because it was something I was really looking forward to doing. And the second thing was all my live concerts. I had about 30 gigs that were cancelled. And it was also very hard to deal with that.
Hi, everyone. This is the first time I'm doing a Facebook Live. And so I don't know if you can hear me, if you can see me, if you're connected. I'm going to wait for some time to see some people joining in. In any case, I hope that you guys are safe at home and you're taking care and that you are keeping healthy and respecting the rules. This is a tough time, but it's going to pass. Here everything's okay in Paris. We're in confinement. The sun is shining, as you can see. And I wanted to share some songs with you. Hopefully, share some positive energy during this time. So I have some covers that I love. I have some songs that I've written. And I hope that you guys enjoy. So I'm going to start with a song by Ben Harper called Forever. I can see 2 people have joined in and I'm happy to see you. Hi. This is my first Facebook Live, so I have no clue how it works. And it's one good thing about the virus, I guess, is that it's pushing us to, do things differently and pushing us out of our comfort zones. And I guess that's one of the good things.
It was, I have to go back and recollect the first few days. It was stressful, and it was very unsettling because, I mean, I live alone. I'm used to living alone. I'm used to enjoying my company all the time. But this context was different. It was like, wow, what can I do? What do I do? And I felt a little restricted because, I mean, just psychologically, you can't go out, you can't meet friends. All my concerts are canceled. So it was stressful. And I think during that period, I spoke a lot. I connected a lot over the phone or on WhatsApp with friends and family to kind of reassure myself. But once I realized that thankfully everyone who was in my close circle was fine and they were dealing with it in their own way, that stress kind of settled down. After the first few days that was stressful, I kind of really began to enjoy, apart from the suffering. And I know that it's been a horrible time for us, but personally, I began to enjoy the quietness, the calm. That helped me create this routine. I was also kind of scared of not doing anything and not being productive. I needed to keep in touch with my art, with my skills. And so I stuck to a routine. I used to wake up early in the morning, go for a run, come back, meditate for about 20 minutes, and then journal because I like journaling. And then I was set to start my day. So then I would either learn new songs or write new songs or try and do something with my art, with music. And that routine really helped me develop or create certain things that I didn't expect to create. I wrote a few new songs and I was able to make a music video. It was the first time I've ever made a music video of one of my songs. And I experienced a period that was rich in creativity, and I'm thankful for that.
The last couple of months have revealed the spirit and the fundamental goodness of the people of this country and shined a light on the many heroes leading us through it. But the pandemic also has exposed starkly the places where we are vulnerable.
I think there are a few things that we have to learn from this. And I think, I mean, just from my experience or just speaking out loud, one is I think we've moved really far away from our connection with nature. You know, I feel that everyone's just living quite selfishly and maybe not with a conscious mind of the consequences of our actions, you know. And it's led us to consume in a not so mindful manner. And I think that's kind of led us to where we are. But what's hopeful is during this pandemic, at least in my circle and myself included, we kind of got the understanding that we don't need a lot to live happily. We can live with a lot less. We can live with a more minimalistic approach and attitude. And it's kind of put things in perspective. At least that's the way I'd like to see it, that it's put things in perspective. And everyone who was in lockdown had experienced the benefits of silence and birds chirping that we've forgotten to hear. And I think that's our connection with nature. We need to get back to that closeness, because we all are connected. We all are nature. Yeah, for me, I think we were not respecting that equation which got us to this point.
If someone had said to you in December that by April, millions of people all over the world would be infected with a mysterious new virus that has no vaccine, you'd think they were talking about a Hollywood script. It's happened so fast, it almost doesn't seem real.
Breaking developments in the coronavirus pandemic. The death toll rising in the U.S., more than 60 dead.
Doctors on the front lines in Italy with an ominous warning tonight, calling this the apocalypse and telling the world to get ready.
Well, most of us have never lived through anything like this.
No one is immune to the COVID-19 virus. It threatens all of us.
Now imagine a world where mass outbreaks of deadly diseases are commonplace. Well, it sounds scary, but that might not be too far off. The World Health Organization has warned that we're entering a new phase where such a reality is, quote, a new normal.
Merci beaucoup d'être connecté. Je vois des commentaires, je vois des gens qui me donnent des pouces et des cœurs. Merci beaucoup. Je veux dire merci. C'est pas un temps facile pour nous tous, mais les réseaux, l'internet nous permet d'être connectés et ça c'est super. Et je suis très contente de lire vos commentaires, donc vous pouvez mettre aussi d'autres choses. I don't know how you're keeping busy these days, and if you have any ideas that could help all of us, you can put them in the comments so that all of us can see. I'm going to continue with a song that's a cover by Melody Gardot called Baby I'm a Fool, and I hope you like it. Salut Jikael, merci beaucoup. Salut Sana. Oui, vivement on peut faire le concert au Péniche un petit peu de Jikael.
The first thing that comes to my mind is digital. And I think it's because we have all been pushed into connecting with each other digitally, not seeing people face to face. There's a new way of working as well. People are working from home a lot more than going into work. And I think this digital force is going to be amplified in our lives. And for example, for my industry, the music industry, a lot of things are shifting online. People are doing online concerts. People are starting to think of ways to get paid to do online concerts. So the digital is very present. I think the second thing for the new normal, again, from my experience, is reconnecting with yourself. I learned a lot about myself in the lockdown, and I could develop a deeper relationship with myself. Sometimes we're scared to be alone, but this period has taught me that at least it's pushed me to become more independent, more resilient, and have a deeper relationship with myself. I know I can depend on myself a lot more than I did. And for me, that's a really positive thing if you look at it from that angle. So I hope that we're less scared of being alone, and that solitude is also a blissful state of mind. Again, in the confinement, I stepped out of my comfort zone and I did Facebook and Instagram lives. Weird, but interesting, because I noticed, so weird for me because as an artist, I can't hear people clapping. I can't see you. I can't see your expressions. And that felt really. But I noticed that people are really giving. They show their love through text or through emoticons. So little hearts and little smileys. And when you see that, it makes you understand that they are engaging with you, and that's their way of engaging with you. So you can take the time then to reply to the comments or interact with them based on their comments. That's one way of creating engagement. Another thing I noticed is that it opened up a whole new world for me, because I come from India, but all my concerts are in France. And I didn't realize that there are a lot of people in India who want to listen to me and who connected in. That made me feel nice. That opened up that space that I didn't think of before. So that was encouraging, you know.
Art, music, theatre. This is what brings us together. But in a time of social distancing, how is it faring? And what role does it play in a society under lockdown?
It's devastating, the impact on our income, on our ability to perform. What we're really concerned about is both getting through this period, but also having the resources to start performing again. It's an expensive business.
But faced with adversity, artists and venues are finding innovative ways to bring people joy online.
I'm still hoping that we kind of get back to what we were, but with a few changes. But if things have to continue like this, I think where the arts are concerned, I feel it's going to make us more solo workers, because if we can't meet each other, then our creative process is really, it becomes individualistic rather than collective. Unless, and that's hopeful, there are tools and technologies that allow us to collaborate and create online, which at least for the music bit of it, we haven't yet seen. So for example, on platforms like Zoom or on a live, only one person can talk at a time. Otherwise there's latency. So to have a band playing or to have two people singing at a time, we don't have that sort of technology yet, which probably could emerge from this experience. I think the new normal is probably also, at least in my case, is going to make us maybe less of perfectionists because of the individualistic creative process. That's the way I experienced it. I feel that our focus should be on building our communities because we're isolated, and that an artist has the tools today to create his community. There's so many platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and there are ways to make a living through this community. And I think that's priority as well. And lastly, I would say, I think it's also it's important for us to retract and have this time to create, to give ourselves the mind space to write, to sing, to create, or to do whatever else it is, or whatever artistic field it is. It's important to take that time to nourish your ideas, and maybe this time is meant for that, to be more creative and let the ideas flow.
We're not the only ones living in this paradise, and when we look outside, everything's more than fine.
The Paris Talks podcast is produced by Michael Bahari. Our theme song is Nipe Story by Shahman Mushaga. Additional music is provided by Pixabay and Sumana Music. For more information about this episode and our other projects, please visit paris-talks.com. Sumana's contacts and news are found on Instagram under the handle Sumana Music.
Baby, are you with me? And can you see that maybe this is necessary? Are we brave enough to realize, recalibrate, and reprioritize? Can we make the changes to our lifestyles? Are we strong enough to admit that we're fragile? And now is the time.
I really hope so. We can't go 100% digital. We go mad. No, we have to get back to how we were. Don't have the answer, but we have to be able to go out and be free again and live our lives and connect with each other the way we used to. It's fundamental for our state of well-being.